Hello. We're glad to welcome you to I believe it's the sixth episode of our Morrison Memories. And today we're going to interview Verlin Insleman. He's lived around here all his life, or pretty near close to Morrison all his life. We were just going to ask him about growing up here in Morrison and some of the things he remembers and the things that would be interesting for his family to know and people in Morrison to know. So thank you, Verlin, for coming. We appreciate you getting out and coming down here.
Hope I can help.
Oh, you'll be good. Why don't you tell us, where were you born, Verlin?
I was born in Morrison, just almost straight south of here.
Really?
Across the highway. There's a two-story house down there, and I guess my grandpa Mott had it rented. And I was born in that two-story house down there, and Ollie Hallman, I think, was the owner of the house.
So you were born at home. And then is your brother, Ronald, is he older or younger? He's younger.
He's younger. He's 2 years younger, and he was born in Kansas.
Oh, really? Why, did your folks move up there for a while?
Yeah, my dad worked in the oil field. We was everywhere.
Oh, I see. I didn't know. I didn't know that. So you kind of.
I didn't start I started school here in Morrison, I think, when I was in the 5th grade. And I didn't graduate, but I was going to work in the oil field, get rich, you know.
Yes, you did. Yeah, boy, you got rich, didn't you? You made a living anyway, didn't you?
Yeah.
What years did you go to school? What year was your last year? Do you remember the year?
Probably 1950, I think it was.
So instead of you were going to get rich in the oil field, and so you worked as a roughneck, right? Or whatever you call it. What's the term? Yeah.
Drilling rigs. Right.
And you married Jean. It used to be Hardy.
Yeah.
Harden, right?
Yeah, Jean Hart. She had 5 sisters.
Yeah. Know them all.
And my brother married the 3rd sister, June. Yeah, Jean was the oldest of the 6 girls.
You had 2 children.
Yeah, 3 children. First baby died at about 2 months of age, and had Vera. We lost her about 6 years ago, I guess, 6 or 7. We still got Bob.
Yeah,
Bob. Thank goodness, Bob and Rhonda, they take care of me.
Rhonda was Carter, right? You married Bob, yeah. And Verla was married to Kenny Frank.
Yeah.
So how long did you roughneck? How many years did you do that? Can you tell us something about the...
Off and on. The oil field, it's still that way. They work a while and then they shut down.
Right.
You know, so
How about Jim Dollarhide? Was he a good worker in the oil field?
Yeah, he was a good worker. He worked direct for me for a long time. He liked to work direct.
And what's that mean? Work derrick?
Worked up in the derrick.
Up in the work up there, go up there?
That's where I worked. I worked a lot. I'd rather work there than anywhere.
What businesses do you remember on Main Street?
Okay, down by the depot, that building, there was a guy, a Fowler, had a pool hall in there. Snooker tables, pool tables, and I guess they played, I don't think, they might have played cards in there, I don't know. I didn't hang around in there much. I'd rather be fishing or hunting than hanging around in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, on down the ways was a barber shop. Bob Moore run it. And on north side of the street, of course, right over here was the bank.
Yeah.
Then there's a hardware store. Then there was Seaver's grocery store.
Oh, Harold.
Harold Chase had a butcher shop.
Butcher shop, yeah.
I guess that's about all of it that I can remember.
That's quite a bit. So you're talking about the south side of the town was the barber shop and the post office and store.
Yeah, there's 2 stores on the south side of that. Later on, Jack Pulley run one of them.
Yeah, Jack Pulley ran the store.
And they had a locker plant. I used to haul chickens in town on my bicycle to freeze them.
Oh,
he had a locker plant.
Yeah.
That was before deep freezes.
Right. I was trying to explain that to someone the other day, how you had a locker, or my daughter, I guess. how you had a locker. And she said, what's a locker? Why do you need a locker for your meat? And I said, well, we didn't have a freezer, and so you had a locker up at the store, and when you needed meat, you went and got what you needed. They had it was frozen, and when they butchered a cow, they'd take it up there and store it.
Yeah, I never will forget that. It's my job to catch him and kill him and scald him. Help pick him. Mom would help me pick him.
Do you remember when Highway 64 was built?
No. I remember, that's another story. 177 was gravel. You know, one of goes
gravel,
north
yeah.
to south. But anyhow, my mother, she didn't drive. Dad was trying to teach her how, because he was going in the oil field all the time. And he said if she'd learn how to drive, he'd get her a car where she could come back and forth from the farm out here 2.5 miles east of town, where she could drive to town and back and get groceries and stuff. So anyhow, she agreed. She got in there at Bill's Corner, and we headed north. And we got about 4 or 5 miles north there. And she was tooling along, I imagine, about 25 miles an hour. But me and Ronnie was in the back seat of this 39 Chevrolet. All of a sudden, I heard Mom scream. Of course, this kid jumped up trying to see what was going on, you know. And I seen a great big old fat hog.
Oh.
Big old sow. She run out in the road, and Mom, she run right over the center of it. The car hit her and went over, and the dust and the dirt started to flying, and that old sow was squealing. Anyhow, Mom got stopped. The car was full of dust. Walked around the front of the car and jerked the car door open. She said, "Hank, get out of there. You don't learn to drive. I'm not driving no longer."
So did you?
Of course, I was worried about the old sow. And I said, "How's the old sow? Did you kill her?" Mom said, "No, I didn't kill her. She's running off down the road."
That's funny. Yeah. I was going to ask you about the railroad, because I think you know a little bit of, you used to ride the train sometimes, or?
Well, I rode it Doodlebug one time to Pawnee and back. Mother agreed to take us kids. We wanted to ride it, you know.
You wanted to ride a train.
And we got to ride the train from Morrison to Pawnee, and we stayed over there during the day, and the train come back in the evening.
Yeah.
And we rode it back to Morrison.
They could almost let you out at your farm, couldn't they?
Yeah.
They went right by your house.
Yeah. Yeah, where we lived out there, the train running right by there. Of course, there wasn't very many back then.
Right.
Maybe 1 or 2 a day. Well, a doodlebug every day.
When they say a doodlebug, does that mean just one car and what?
Well, that's really about all it was. There's one passenger car. Well, of course, the engine and the coal car, you know. And then sometimes there was a box car, we called them, where they'd load the cream and the eggs and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Cream, they call it Tulsa, I guess. A caboose.
A caboose. We don't have cabooses anymore, do we?
No cabooses anymore. A little old box on the back of.
Yeah, a sad day when we lost our cabooses. I like those.
Remember his grandfather, Howard, took me down there one day and introduced me to him. That's when he was building just across the street right there, and he lived in the farthest south one. At one time, there's a newspaper in this one that's not across the street.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
And
he said his grandpa was out in the outhouse when that building caught on fire.
Oh.
He was living in
I can't remember that.
Yeah.
It was in a trailer there at last. He was blind, wasn't he? I come up here, I bought a Ford pickup, and it had a extra, I don't know what to call them, club cabs, I think they called them that. Anyway, it had a little bitty back seat in it, and I was drilling at the time, and hauling a crew to the rig and back. Big old boys get in that back seat, and their knees is up around their ears, just trying to sit back here. So I come up here and ask Howard if he fix me up a cushion to go in that back seat to raise it up a little. And he said, "Well, He said, I'll see what I can do. And I said, okay. I think he seen me one day at the post office. And he said, I got that seat fixed, that cushion. You want to come and get it and try it? And I said, yeah. So I did. And them boys that rode back there, they said that was the best thing that ever happened. And I still had that cushion when I sold my place down here at Glencoe and moved back to Morrison.
I'd say you got your money's worth.
Yeah. And it had a lot of miles on it, a lot of rough treatment.
Yeah. That's a neat story. When you were growing up in Morrison, what's a memory you have of where you played, of the trouble you got in? You surely didn't get in trouble, did you?
Well, like I told you, we got that buggy out of the barn down there and put it up on the school steps up on top. And they went back to school the next day. Everybody knew who done it.
This was the school that had the stairs in front, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you probably did have to get that down.
Yeah, we really worked. There's I think there's 5 of us. But we really worked because them old time buggies had them great big old wheels on them. Really worked.
You had to work at it to get it up there, didn't you? Oh my.
And getting it down. They told us if we broke it, we'd pay for it.
Do you remember when they built the water tower? Because it's in this picture.
No.
You don't remember?
Water tower's been there as long as I can remember.
Really?
It was there when imagine when I was born.
Really? I just got to thinking about that and wondered, it was being quite a thing to watch them build that back whenever.
Look at this picture here, Bill's Corner. That's the station there that Diesel operated. Then over here on this corner was where Dollar Hides were. And Rusty Dollar Hide was just a little guy, about 2 or 3 years old.
When they ran the store out there? Oh, yeah, I don't remember. Yeah.
And Jim was working Derek's for me, and he was living there. I'd stop there and pick him up every day.
But did they live in the back?
Yeah, they did.
They lived in the back, huh?
Yeah, the Highway Patrol gave Rusty a ticket one day. Oh, he was mad. Rusty was mad. He's riding the tricycle.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. That's what I thought. Okay, I wonder.
He's riding his tricycle around the pump.
That's funny.
Yeah, pump.
Yeah.
Patrolman gave him a ticket.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah.
Out on her.
That's funny. Yeah, Rusty, he was quite a Rusty, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Jim was a little quieter than Rusty, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like when you went in the school, how the layout was and what it looked like?
Well, of course, I went to that building there, and the bathrooms was down over the hill, north and east a little ways.
They were outside bathrooms.
Yeah. Outside bathroom.
Like when you walked in the front doors, there were just classroom. Was there classroom? Help that.
Well, let's see. Walked in the first door, I think it was the library.
Library.
Of course, I think I was on the first floor when I started. Then junior high, I think, was the second floor. The third floor was high school.
Yeah, I think that's what someone said.
I think 5th or 6th grade. When I started, I know I was on the bottom.
Bottom floor, yeah.
Floyd Robbins was the maintenance man, janitor.
How many years did he do that? Because he was still there when I was in school.
He was still there and I left, I think.
He had a lot of years, didn't he?
I know. That's boys. Well, I was an instigator of it. I found out where he hid his bottle. So one day at recess or noon or sometime, I seen him. He was back out in the gym fooling around. So I tooled back in there and got his bottle. And I moved it and hid it in another spot, It went on a couple of days. Of course, he had an idea who it was because I was all the time. He called a bunch of us boys. He said, whoever got my bottle, that better be back in the same spot tomorrow. But he just had a word.
So they say they,
And of course, I didn't tell nobody because I knew they'd tell on me. So I got his bottle. I watched, made sure he wasn't around, you know. And I put his bottle back. And that was no more is ever said.
nothing was said. I think there's a lot of people found out where his bottle was. And some of those high school boys used to go in there and smoke. You know, when they are off, when they didn't have a class or something, or learning, you know, they'd go in there and smoke in Floyd's office. He had a lot of years to put up with a lot of kids, didn't he?
He did. He had a lot of misery with those kids, especially like me.
Verlin, I'm finding out all kinds of things about you that I didn't know. Floyd, he worked at the school until he couldn't, you know, didn't he? Yeah. And him and Ruby lived down that, straight down from the Christian church a block.
But his wife just died not too long
Yeah,
ago.
we all remember Ruby. She lived 104, 106. Do you remember fishing with old Donnie or any of these other guys?
Yeah, I used to go fishing down there a lot.
You surely have a story on him, don't you?
Got a pretty good story on him. We was turkey hunting. Me and Donnie and Cheever. Randy Cheever. So anyhow, we seen some turkeys out in a pasture. There's a bunch of cattle in this pasture, and they've just been put in there, you know, and how they do, they just run the fence line, kind of swarming around. Donnie was supposed to go out there and go around the cattle, and the turkeys, and head them back our way. Well, he got out there and just fooling around. And anyway, turkeys didn't come our way, they went the other way. And when he got back, old Vance let him have it.
Randy,
Yeah, Randy.
he didn't get him there, did he?
No, he didn't. He's out there counting cows when he should have been herding turkeys.
So what's your feelings on living in Morrison and growing up here? And
Oh, I think it's a great place to grow up and go to school. I don't think you can beat it. We got a real good school.
yeah,
Got a lot of good people around here. Do anything for you. Yeah, it's a good place. Very good place. Both of my kids turned out all right. Well, it's going to keep it growing. I can say that. All this new stuff out west here. But you know, when I bought a house, moved out here on Mary Street, the first one that moved in there, and I thought, well, they probably won't be but about 5 or 6 more houses. First thing you know, the whole thing was full. I had to go somewhere else and start building. Well, that's just progress and a good school. I think that's what makes the town grow, is the school. That new part out in there, that's people coming from Stillwater wanting to get their kids out of the Stillwater school. And all the drugs anymore is making a bad deal.
but we've been blessed in this town. We
Yeah,
have things happen, but we've certainly been blessed.
sure have.
And I want to thank you, Verlin, for doing this.
Well,
I really enjoyed it. I always enjoy visiting with you. So when you used to come to the beauty shop with Alma, we've visited a lot. So, well, as we come to the close of another episode in Morrison Memories, I just thank you all for listening to us. And when you see our episodes on Facebook or wherever you see them, if you have a comment, make a comment. We want to know what you think about it, and if we're doing okay, or if you have any comments to make about what someone said on the tape, we want to hear it. We want to know it. And I don't know who we'll have next time, but we will have someone in the near future. So thank you for watching, and happy trails.